Alright, so let me be intelligent and scarf this shit
No,
down.
you don't have to fucking worry about that. Chris, if this looks dope, keep it. If it doesn't look dope, don't keep it. That's the rules. What's up, Chris? How you doing? What's up, internet, camera? This is an in-person version of an episode of Bridge the Gap. As you can see with me, in person. That's right, at the crib.
Oh, shit.
We have Mr. Basics at Just Spell Basics on all the socials. Don't worry, that should be linked down below. And this is a special edition of this whole Bridge the Gap thing, because straight up, it's being premiered. It should be at least on the Hip Hop You Don't Stop platform as part of their festival. So big ups Hip Hop You Don't Stop for bringing us through, for letting us come and have this moment and a little bit of shine up on their platform. So that's truly wonderful. With that, though, we got Basics up in here, which means we're going to get the show started proper. Welcome, Mr. Basics. Welcome to Bridge the Gap. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for having me with my mouth full of food that everyone's listening and hearing me chew and thinking I'm a complete dickhead. Am I allowed to swear? Oh, I shouldn't
fucking swear all you want. I already sworn before. Look, hold on, let me.
I love you guys. I'm sorry for chewing.
This is maybe not the most kid-friendly show, but it's fine. We are on that honest stuff, so we are raw and usually live. This is not live. This is my first, my first non-live interview in over a year, in about a year actually. And so, like, we went to the Twitch and whatnot. So this is a big moment, you know, a special thing where the people aren't seeing there. Don't worry, we're gonna pretend it's live. We ain't editing stuff.
People are gonna be like, wait a minute. If this is pre-recorded, why the hell did you let this guy chew and eat on camera?
Because
look, guys,
that's the show, bro.
If you follow me on social media, you know I'm a skinny guy and I'm trying to gain weight, not lose weight like his song, but like, so you know, I have to eat continuously because you can see I'm a scrawny little guy. So.
Nobody's worried about you.
Have
eating,
empathy
bro.
for me, thank you.
I was going the opposite. I'm like, this is the most uncut, lack of trying to make it polished show in history. Welcome to Bridge the Gap, everyone. This is the show where we walk through the lives of interesting people, such as Mr. Basics, a very interesting person, and we try to extract some knowledge nuggets, typically live on the internet. And this time it's a little more intimate, closed-off environment. Just me and Basics alone in a room. And so with that, though, we're going to get it started right. We're going to run the show like we normally do. It's going to be a wonderful experience. I'm going to be absolutely garbage at remembering where the cam is. This is not normal. With that, can you, Mr. Basics, let us know where you start your life and where your parents are from? I'm trying to reframe this early question because that's the most important part to get us started.
Where I started my life?
Yeah, like where you were born.
And where my parents are from. Wow. That's a pretty... Okay.
Yeah,
I never been asked that before in an interview, you know.
That's because we do things special over here. We're going to talk about whatever. We got to start there. It makes sense.
Okay, so where my life was started, I guess, is in my parents' DNA. And it came together, and I was there, you know, bars, because they came together DNA, but they also came together because they were having sex. Bars. Okay, no, I'm sorry, I'm kidding. That was gross.
Love it.
But yeah, so I was born in Montreal.
Amazing.
I was born at the Jewish General Hospital. I came at 4:40 a.m.
Perfect.
because I bothered my mom in the middle of the night, because that's what I do.
It's important.
You know, I grew up in Point St. Charles and Little Burgundy.
Cool. Let's stop there. Grew up is where we got that era part of town, and that's amazing. That's it. Honestly, we'll get into the rest of it after with the next question. It's just we need to know where the story starts.
Okay, fair enough. And to answer your question about my parents, well, my dad is Italian. He's born here, but his family's from Italy, Napolitan, and my mom is black from somewhere. I don't know where because she's adopted. And unfortunately, we just don't have information in regards to where she's from. But I would love to do a DNA test at some point to find out, because
say word.
I'm never able to answer this question. So in a way, I'm never able to fully, like, you know, like I don't have, there's a certain disconnect from my knowledge of my own self to some degree. And even though it may not necessarily be as important as other aspects of knowing your own self, it's still something that I'm not able to have even a discussion or explain to. So there's a certain...
My mother adopted too, so I'm Jewish-ish, because
Word
technically
up.
She was the mother of my grandmother was the servant of a rich guy who knocked her up and put a kid up for adoption. And my grandmother went through the Jewish adoption agency in like the 30s or some shit. So we know she Jewish, but it's hard to prove she Jewish.
Wow.
And then like, so I kind of get where you're coming from with that stuff.
We have a lot of similar
similar
background right there.
But that actually leads into the real opening question, which is a bit of the cliche we ask everybody this thing. It's a little bit of a story. And when it lands, you can kind of answer it however. But it all starts out with my girlfriend. And she's washing the dishes one time. And she's got her phone. And it's playing that Black Eyed Peas song. I got a feeling.
I'm sorry, Black Eyed Peas and Black Eyed Peas fans. That was just a very visceral and gut reaction to.
Usually I get the opposite, but fair enough.
Really?
Everybody loves this song.
I can't stand that song. I'm so sorry, guys. Please, if you like me now, you like me less because you love the Black Eyed Peas. But Black Eyed Peas were better before Fergie.
It's just a preface point. It's not really.
No, I know, but I'm just. I'm sorry.
People get caught up on it though, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's just the beginning of the but yeah, she's listening to it, right? And she's bumping and she's dancing and she's doing her thing. And I look at her and I'm like, when the fuck did this become chores music? Right? Because I'm like, yo, say a word. Think about this track in particular, right? 10 years ago, we'd all be up inside of the clubs or the bars and it was everywhere. I can get why you might not like it. Fact. Everywhere to a point where I can remember being in circles, super drunk.
Dude, it was in commercials and movies. It was incredibly popular. Videos.
And then 10 years later, it's the chores music. It's the exercise music. It's the I'm doing some crap and it's kind of boring music to make his life a little bit better. And I'm like, say a word. Yeah. That's amazing how a song, because it's a song, it doesn't change over this entire period of time. It just kind of is the same song. But the context of who we are as people evolves so much that the club music becomes the chores music.
Yeah, for sure.
And then if you think about them little ones who are just not ready for this yet, they're going to be up in their 20s doing their Cardi B's and whatnot. They have no idea that in their early 30s they're going to be washing dishes like up and it's up. And because you know what we're doing?
Yeah, facts.
Up and it's up. And that's how it is. Facts. Because chores music.
Somebody's going to be Swiffering talking about, I don't dance now, I make money moves.
I Swiffer. I personally love that song. But that's what I'm saying. Because when you're doing chores, you want to go to that linear vibe. You don't want to be facts. Like. So that was crazy.
And music is a cyclical, like the way that we respond to it. Like you said, as we change, grow, evolve, as we age, and it's like your palate actually. Because like as a child, there's a lot of foods
let me get to that. Let me get to the child side. This is like we're not even done the question. So then, if you think about the music and where your brain's already going with it, we're on like a journey. So right, and when you think about when people answer the questions about themselves and their journey, right? They always start at the adolescent phase. Yo, I got into hip hop when I found this song. I started rapping at this age. My influences I'm like, bro, think about it for a second. It's a journey. That means that when you popped out in the hospital, there's probably a song playing in the room, and that was being absorbed into your existence at that very time.
Oh yeah, facts.
And yo, so it made me realize music's like an all-time kind of thing, right? So if you really run that back to being like a kid, like I can remember being 4 or 5. I'm sitting in like my apartment. My dad's got the gray boxes, the amp, the radio, the tape deck, the everything with the wires to the speakers and everything. And he would busting his Led Zeppelin tapes at night. It would be like 1990s MC Mario live from the club mix type things, going through it like that. My mom's was more into discos and musicals and things like that.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
33.
Okay, word up.
Same age.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure. I think you're a little older.
I'm 34, yeah.
And basically, it was all that kind of vibes, right? So the pop music would be out there. At Christmas time, though, I remember vividly, we had this EDM Christmas remix tape. So like it was EDM remixes to like popular Christmas songs, and that was like present opening music and shit. All that to say, these are like vibes and shit, and now I'm making like EDM pop music. So you know what I'm saying? Like there's connections between these things. So really, the story starts so much before we normally start it. So with that, yes, now it's going back to you, Mr. Basics. Can you run us back to what it was like to be you, the youngest Basics you can remember? What it sounded like, in a sense, the technologies before you had any control over the environment you were in?
Wow, that's a good question, man. What did it sound like? Shit. I mean, as a kid, it sounded like fucking cassette tapes and like VCRs and like you know, like Disney songs in like the Lion Kings and the great mouse detectives of the world. And like, man, like it's funny you say as far as like controlling the sound, but like, you know, to what I was talking about Burgundy and Point St. Charles, like I was with my mom in Point St. Charles, but on you know, days off from school, weekends, etc., I was always at my grandmother's in Burgundy. And my adoptive grandmother's French, and she always used to play like vinyls, like big time growing up. Like I always listened to like classical music and music on vinyls, Edith Piaf and Charles Aznavour, and like a lot of like stuff that wouldn't necessarily, you know, the Sinatras and the like Ella Fitzgerald's like I was listening to a lot of like older music that wasn't necessarily for my age at all in any way, shape, or form. Like that was basically like the big part of the sound. And then like from my mom's and my mom's surroundings, because my mom had me when she was 24. So, you know, when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, my mom was still in her late 20s. So she was bumping the stuff that was the early 90s hip hop, the early 90s and mid 90s R&B. Like I grew up listening to SWV and, you know, the Tonys and the Belle Biv DeVoes and the Boys to Men's, Brian McKnight's, et cetera, et cetera. And like, so it's a lot of that. It's a lot of mixture of both of those kind of energies and worlds of like the big quote unquote urban music of that time, as well mixed with eras that were from the 50s and 60s, and like just that kind of, you know. And then I just like to talk about like cassettes and stuff. Like I just remember being like, I guess it's a little older than that when you started making your own tapes and stuff, but like I just remember like I remember having a pager and like recording like music into the pager thing to like leave to like be like, yeah, okay, you reach Alex, I can't come to the phone now, da da da. Like just doing stuff like that, like having a voicemail and then putting music on it. Like it's such a, I don't know, it's such a deep answer, but as far as my young years, that's what it sounded like. Sounded like Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo.
I like how you, okay, so I like it when people do things I never heard before. You gotta keep in mind, we're like 100, I mean, over 100, 125 easy deep. So like we've done a couple of
facts. These. Okay, that's true.
Nobody has described it with the sounds like clicking and shit. Like literally, this is like the clicks of the tapes and shit. Like that is the first sounds. And then it was like the content. Nah, it's like no, I remember the sounds of the tape deck open, which I can vividly remember now that you've said it. But it's crazy
that
how
of the thing rewinding and the like the hard stop. And like
nobody's mentioned that to me.
It's so
like, the
like
way that but that was not. I listened to the music and then there's this. No, it was the first thing you said. That's what's amazing.
Because I feel like honestly, it's funny that you say that, but now it's triggering more. But like really, if you want to talk about it, the sound, like because you thought about technology and like the sound of my youth, it's reminiscent of a more tangible interaction with all forms of the media that you were connecting. Like it's nowadays it's a lot more easy to like, I feel like everything is like fast food. Like you can access almost anything you want as long as you have an internet connection. You could pretty much get whatever you want for free. You can pretty much find it. You can pretty much listen to it. You can pretty much watch it. You can pretty much engage with it, whatever. But like I remember as a kid like putting a vinyl on the thing and learning how to properly put that needle and it and like not, it's not on right, and like just like that whole, like I remember the sound of like speakers with auxes and like the crickling and like putting in a VCR, like it not working, like just like I remember these kind of things that there's so much. I remember the phone like with the when you put your finger in the hole, like so like in a way like there's such an appreciation for myself to have experience those things like that, because I feel like my connection to these things is so much more than just like how we connect to media and, you know, that listening or watching things right now. You know what I mean? You have to find the right channel. You have to put the VCR on the right thing to, because if not, it was just like super fuzzy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that was a super interesting answer, Stills. It's one of those ones where I'm like, yo, say word. That is like, because it's the opposite of how I live. I'm super virtual, super on this, like, you know, like technology fast. Like, I don't use no notepads. Are you kidding me? Bro, you know how many times I used to like write the lyrics, make a typo, scratch it out, rewrite it. Oh, now I gotta rewrite the whole page. Third time I'm rewriting the whole page. I hate the song. So no, man, backspace, best friend I ever made. But the downside of that is I'm probably less considerate with my words. You know, there's a less of a. I'm willing to make more mistakes because whatever, there's a backspace.
Wow, I feel you.
So in a sense, it's like there's a trade-off. That's the one thing I learned because I talked to like engineers who was like big real engineers, and I talked to engineers today, and the freedom comes with a lack of preparation.
Yeah, I feel you.
So you like look at a Beastie Boys classic, like a Paul's Boutique, bro. Do you know how much fucking planning had to go into that? Like, just think about the logistical planning of that beat. Every sample now has to be found, sliced, placed in
analog, man. It's a whole nother world of like, yeah, man.
Where, like, bro, I'm sliding shit in Reaper around now, so it's like.
It's funny that you say that because I still love writing on a piece of paper because of the fact that, like, not to say there's more effort, but there's, like, it's like you gotta scratch shit out. You gotta, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a totally different thing. And, like, it's funny you say that, but, like, one of the things that stuck to me, it's, like, off tangent of music, but, like, they say that, like, if you're gonna write something important to someone or something that could be, you know, taken in a wrong way or emotionally, or if you write, like, you should write it in a letter or write it in a physical form on paper because you'll be, like you said, a lot more thoughtful with your words and the things that you say and shit like that, you know? So, yeah, that's definitely dope, man.
I totally feel that. And this is
might have to light another one of those.
Oh, we will.
Were you going to say it's no disrespect to writers?
No disrespect to writers. I have, in fact, written entire, like, bars on the topic of why the fuck are people still using pen and pad and shit. I went to war for a minute, but then I literally found research that supported note-taking over not, and, like...
Sure, you're creating a more... Like I said, like interacting with a media more tangibly. When you're writing it out, you're creating a more tangible connection to the words and the things that you're writing.
Apparently, it has something to do with like the fact of like distracting your brain. So like when you're typing, it's such a mechanical, non-distinct motion that your brain effectively can get bored quicker. You can go on autopilot easier, so you can actually type and not even pay attention to what you're typing in a way where when you're writing, it interrupts your focus more, so you have to pay more attention to the writing element.
Wow, that's deep, because there's a job where you're literally, the point is to type super fast while not looking at what you're typing, and that's a stenographer in a court. Like, you literally are not watching what you're typing and you're just and like, so that's, and the person who's doing that job could care less about what they're writing.
Not in the least. You don't need to. But if you were doing it by hand,
you would be like, oh my God. You'd be like, slow down. I can't keep up with that.
They did shorthand notes.
No, for sure. But what I mean is like, that's kind of the whole steez too with like writing music or writing lyrics, poetry, whatever. Even writing your thoughts like in a journal, diary, is like you have that time to really be like, hey, like, what am I writing? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? You know what I mean? What's my connection here to what I'm expressing and putting out?
Well, I mean, facts, but like at the same time, I look at it like you also can just look at the doc file and go, do I like this? Like, right? Like, I mean, like when
that's
you
hysterical.
Google,
yeah, but I mean, like, as you're writing it out, you know what I mean?
I mean, like, because I mean, I don't know about you, but like, I rap it and see how I feel about it, and then I change words if I like it, and then I re-rap it.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
So I mean, practically speaking, you kind of get used to it. So in my head, I can just feel out by typing.
I type lyrics out too. I'm not gonna front like I don't write stuff in my phone and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's a mixture of both, to be honest with you. But then, in a recording process or in something else, I found myself a lot of times rewriting stuff to make it like nicer, because I was like, I write terribly. I write like a 5-year-old child. It's actually, I work with elementary school kids, so I can't lie. Elementary school kids write better than me. I write like chicken scratch. I have to really apply myself for it to be readable, like, which is kind of ironic considering I write stuff down all the time, but it looks terrible. Like, people wouldn't be able to steal my stuff. Technically, it's good in a way. I'm protecting myself if I lose my binder of lyrics.
I I mean, it's fair. I definitely think people would figure it out. I'm sure it's not that bad. But 5-year-olds also have like active training in writing. Like they learn how to write.
Yeah, I
When was
feel
the
you.
last time we sat there and spent an hour a day like learning how to write
Elementary school.
when they were 5?
Yeah, that was the last time that I had any kind of like, oh, this is how you're supposed to shape
like,
the
you
letter.
gotta
And
think about it. What was the fucking point of cursive?
I can't stand cursive, dude. It's funny you say that, but to talk about my childhood, when I was in elementary school, I actually skipped 2 grades. Like I skipped half a yeah. I'm smart, quote unquote. So like basically, when I was in elementary school, I went to French elementary school, Jean-Jacques Collier, and I went kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2. I started grade 3. I was always a troublemaker. I was always a smart ass, a class clown. Like I was, but I always got good grades because when I first was in school, I would mess around, I would whatever, and I was told like, you know, this stuff is gonna affect you. It's gonna affect your grades. This is the trouble. Was like, oh, you're slacking. So my rebuttal was, okay, I'm gonna get the best grades possible, 90s, 95s, close to hundreds, whatever, and I'm just gonna like at the same time be the troublemaker. You know, conundrum. So like when I was in grade 3,
because they don't. You might not know this, but in high school at least, right? Your teacher kind of was evaluated, at least in Quebec, on their like average grade.
Yeah.
So like, I've been the kid that gets in trouble with 90s, and you do not get suspended. You do not get in the same kind of trouble as the kid who gets a 60.
But that's what I'm saying. So like in elementary, when I was in grade 3, I started grade 3 that normal timetable of September, but in January, they put me in grade 4. And the thought process was basically like, oh, we'll put him in an advanced grade. He had missed the whole first half of the year of that grade. So I stepped in, and they had already been doing cursive writing, fractions, and all kinds of stuff that I had never seen before in my entire life. And the thought process was like, we're going to put him in grade 4. So then if he fails, which he probably will, he'll just be in his normal class. He's supposed to be in grade 4 next year anyway. So let's put him in grade 4 right now so he can stop being a troublemaker. And then I was like, no, I'm going to finish grade 4. I'm in grade 4 now. So basically, I went kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, and I did 1 year, which was grade 3 and 4 together. And then I went into grade 5, grade 6. So like I started high school, I just turned 11 years old. Like I walked into grade 7 in high school, and like it was 12 and 13-year-olds. And they were and I was the only 11-year-old in the entire school. It was just like, how the hell is this little kid here? Who's this kid?
All right, so let's pause there because we're going to definitely pick up at that point. That's definitely in the more second chunk of it. This is a show, by the way. It's tangents and your story mixed together. That's the whole show. I am unscripted AF, as the kids say.
Facts.
I don't know if the kids say AF anymore. I feel like if I'm saying
they write it.
Nobody says it.
No, they write it.
They do, but they don't say it.
No. But you're talking to someone who says lol. Like I will say lol in real life. Like
that's that dad dick energy. That's what I call it. It's like big dick energy, but it's where like you just like say a word. I'm dad aged. Let me just pretend like I'm a dad, except for all the parts where I have a kid.
For real.
But when you're young, though, are you like a little sing, dance, presentation, run around the house being musical one?
I'll say this. I'll say that I learned to sing, and I was singing before I was rapping, from singing along to stuff. And by singing along to stuff, I mean, like I was talking about earlier, I grew up listening to the Brian McKnight's, Boyz II Men's, Montel Jordan's, whatevers of the world. And growing up listening to music, when I was singing along, I was trying to sing along and sound exactly like the song sounded. And so in a way, like I've always kind of like loved to sing when there's music and shit going on and people are in a vibe. And so I guess in a way, yes. But I don't think I was like necessarily that run around getting video cameraed kid. No, but like,
there's a whole squad though of Michael Jackson kids. That's what I'm gonna call them. Where they would do like Thriller dances and everything. Like and I've talked about 15 people who are Michael Jackson kids, and they all have the same fucking story. Or like you get the ones like my dad's a guitarist, so and they get the church grind. The church grind hella real, like meticulous in them.
Facts.
like they all like went through that, so it's super nifty. So the fact that you were part of the karaoke squad.
Yes, that's actually a great way to put it. And that's how it's funny because like one of the things that people often are shocked is like how like my lyric retention is like absurd. Like once I hear a song a couple times, I know the song by heart. And once I know something by heart, I never forget it ever. Like I have millions of songs in my mind and I can just recite the entire thing. In fact, like I'm pretty sure if I did this with more things, I could do it because I know the entire movie Half Baked by heart. Like from the opening scene, I can recite every line in every scene from the entire movie from beginning to end as it goes.
All right, can you give us a little taste of that?
Yeah. Hi everybody. My name's Thurgood Jenkins. Like, no.
Say a word. I don't know. I mean,
That's how the Well, and he's basically my first. What does he say? I don't remember my first sexual experience. But my first time smoking marijuana, and then you see they light the spliff. They're outside of the depot. You've seen Half Baked, right?
Yeah. No, I'm letting you do your thing.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to go too deep into the Half Baked, but like,
great.
I mean, Half Baked. I mean, oh my God.
Bro, I'm telling you, the fact that you went that far with it was better than if I stopped you. No, I'm telling you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, you know, I be from Jamaica, man. What part of Jamaica? Right near the beach. Boy, I think you're bullshitting me. Samson Simpson, I stick by my story. If I wasn't Jamaican, why would I wear this hat? Delilah, get me 814. What the fuck is 814? She comes out with the crossbow. He's like, oh! I'm sorry, y'all. I don't want to be the first brother to die from a crossbow.
That is amazing. Like, look, honestly, like that's impressive as fuck.
Samson, I'm sorry. We've been lying to you. I'm sorry. We was just trying to get our brother out of jail. Man, got locked up. You know how it is.
Like motherfuckers can freestyle. But how many people can like verbatim quote movies? Right?
Yo, facts.
That was good. So you're a young one. You're running through your retention of fucking stuff. You put to the test. You backed up your shit. I appreciate that. So when do you start to like give a fuck about music? As in, usually this is around the adolescent ages, preteen, puberty times, when all of a sudden you'll hear a song and it'll stop being some shit to being like, yo. That's
like as far as like me wanting to rap or sing, or as far as just like
a fan, because you're a fan and then you become I want to rap.
Wow, shit, that's a good question, dude.
It's not like your first influences per se. It's more like, what was the first song that made you go like, yo, I actually want to go buy this. I want this.
Holy crap, dude. That's I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's so many different. I'm trying to pinpoint. I'm trying to even think like, what is the first CD I ever bought? Like, wow, dude, that's a really. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that, man.
Do you remember some of the early shits you were getting into around the era? Like what was like prominent?
I feel like, honestly, it's gonna sound super weird, but something that sticks out to me is like the Criss Cross album, Young, Rich, and Dangerous, which people don't know what I'm talking about. But like when Criss Cross became like older, like when they were like in their late teens, they came back out with music and they had an album called they had an album called Young, Rich, and Dangerous. On the cover, they're wearing like white, like and yo, honestly, like I remember rapping that stuff in front of people and people's reaction to the like just people's reaction to me either rapping stuff or singing stuff always kind of triggered me to be like, yo, what is this thing that music can make people feel? Like how you can, like, not to say how you could control someone, but like you can really have impact. You can, like, there's a true tangible result, manifestation when you're expressing sound to people. And like, so I don't know, to pinpoint it for like being a kid, like to be, honestly,
a bit past being a kid, like more like, because you know at a certain point you start to form your own identity. In a lot of ways, music is a huge part, especially in our culture, of how we formed our identities. Right?
True.
Like for myself, I mean, it's what it is. I was 12 years old, and I heard this song by a guy named Cisco called the
Thong Song. Okay,
And I
word
remember
up.
vividly. We were like, it was before one of those like grade 6 school concert things. So we were like there late, and then we were with the teacher, and we ran that motherfucker for an hour straight.
Okay, you know what? I will tell you this. That's funny. Okay. I see how you work there. I like how you kind of like guided me and triggered an answer here. Okay, like 2 songs. Okay, there's 3 songs that have done that. Okay, one is "This Is How We Do It" by Montel Jordan, because as not as a kid, but as a kid-ish growing up, but another song that's less popular, kind of on that same album from Montel Jordan, is a song called "Something for the Honeys." I don't know if you ever heard that song.
Probably, but offhand, no.
Bro, it's honestly, when I heard that track, that's like track has stuck with me. I would say it's a tie between those 2 and "Summertime" by Will Smith. Because the sample of "Summertime" is so incredible, but also it's just "Summertime" itself. Like, that song is one of the first tracks as a kid, or I don't remember how old I was, but like listening to it when I was just like, yo, like I want to be there. I want to, like, I don't know what, like, it made me feel like I wanted to be in the song. I don't know how to explain it other than that, you know? But like, I mean, I know you know "Summertime," summertime, and just the way how he starts and stuff, and to find out nowadays that like he really was biting Rakim's flow, but like that's a whole nother conversation. And you can never unhear it once you find that out. Here it is, a groove slightly like you can hear Rakim rapping that. But "Something for the Honeys" and "Summertime."
You added this Rakim voice to like
It's out. But yeah, "Something for the Honeys" and "Summertime" might be the rap one, and because it has the harmonies and melodies in the hook with the girl singing. But then "Something for the Honeys" like made me want to like be like cool like Montel. Like, it made me like, it was so dope, like how he's just swagging like on the song, like I don't, okay, like, is it cool if I sing up like the beginning of it, like, because it's so fire, like the song, like, it's like a dump ass beat, and like he's like starts and he's like, "I'm the type of guy who takes time to just kick back. I turn around my baseball cap, I have a 40 sitting on my lap, 70 ivories until I see a female worth my while. I'm scoping that ass, checking her smile, and I know that I can get it and I'll hit it if she's with it. I get the 5 to the 6, 7 digits." Like, it's so sick, like, and it's just like, it made me like, yo, what is this? Like, what is this? Like,
yeah, I love how clean you did that. For one thing, you and Tyrell, not Tyler, should do like a whole like project.
Oh, we need to. We've been talking about that since I met him. Actually, like the first time I ever saw Tyrell, it was at a show called Iron Mike, and he was the opening act, and I was performing that night. And my boy 5P, who makes beats like Breakthrough, More, a few other things, the Dirty 32 beat, etc. He was there, and we both were looking at each other, and we were both like, "Yo, who is this dude? He's taking my whole my shtick. He's doing rapidy, singity. What is this?" And then we met, and then we became boys, and like, bro, and like low key, like Tyrell is like the Neo of the city, like not Neo the Matrix, but like Neo the singer songwriter. He's an incredible writer.
Tyrell really good.
Incredible, man.
Big ups to check out his new track.
Yeah, facts. Happy for you.
Happy
go check it out.
I was like, fuck me, I can't remember. Why am I plugging things that I didn't have? Sorry, Tyrell. He came through for the interview. It was real cool. Then I found out he lives like in the hood-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I say ish because I don't know exactly where, but close enough by that it's like real close. There's a lot of people, Anglo artists, up inside of this corner of the city. Like, yo, you know that fucking Mac Vibes is now 1990 V lives in the Deej too?
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the
that's
wildest
crazy.
shit. He saw me in a Thrive NDG Facebook group.
That's crazy.
I'm like,
I haven't seen this guy in a minute, bro. Shouts to him still. He makes fire music too.
Facts. So I guess then, like, what high school did you go to?
I went to Riverside Park Academy in LaSalle, like, to continue my growing trajectory. Like when I was like 11ish, we moved to LaSalle from Bergs, from Point St. Charles, and so I went to Riverside. It's no longer a high school. I was the last graduating class. It's like an adult education.
Fucking word. I went through that with Wager.
Yeah. Oh, word up. That's what's up. Yeah. So yeah, I went to high school. Like I said, man, I started high school. I was 11, and we wore like uniforms and stuff. So like Wager. And so like when I went to school, like I was 11, right? So like that's another thing too. Is like music and like rapping and the ability to sing and stuff. Like it made me kind of more cool and acceptable in a way, because at first when especially when I first started high school, like literally I was like any place I was in high school, any hallway, any whatever, everybody would be like, why is there a little kid here? Because I was 11. And like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm not exactly a big guy. So I was a lot smaller then too. You know what I'm saying? So like this dude walking around the size of a pinky in the school in the same uniform as everybody else. It's just like, what the hell is this guy doing here? So yeah, music and being able to rap or sing or whatever, like the girls were like, oh, you can sing.
You, start rapping and singing? Like it was just the karaoke kind of stuff?
Yeah, it was karaoke vibes growing up, rapping and singing along to
you're
stuff.
In school, just like rapping and singing the same kind of shit?
Dead ass.
And you're getting girls?
Yeah, well, no, I wasn't getting girls, but I was getting girls to think that I was slightly less annoying and a little kind of cute, but still annoying, want to slap you in the back of the head type thing.
Get it? That's 12-year-old love if I ever heard it.
I mean, hey, you know, girls grow and mature faster than guys, so you can imagine the kid who's actually younger than everybody else is, you know, because I'm obviously super mature and grown up and adult now, and clearly, you know what I'm saying? I'm obviously very adulting at all times now. That's you know amazing. Why so serious and all.
But yeah, no, I mean it was a good different era. I remember boogers used to be involved in flirting in my elementary school, so like
that's hysterical.
For real. I gotta remember, because we thought about it all later, and like, it all clicked. Like people were like, yo, actually that was flirting when you chased the girl with the boogers. It was
that's
you didn't
hysterical.
know you were flirting. You didn't know why you were being particularly annoying.
Shout out to all the girls who mushed me and slapped me in the back of the head and stuff like that. Who wasn't down.
But they,
low key, they were kind of down still.
That's it. The ones that like did it to you more than the other guys, they were the ones that are really down. You know, but you didn't know that back then because none of us had. You know how I know? Because she still slaps me in the back of the head. Well, not really. Hard. You know, but she still does hilarious. That shit. She'll like walk up and be like absurdly annoying for no reason, and I'm do the same thing to her. And I mean, that's just love as an adult.
That's real love there,
right? Like, when you're absurdly fucking annoying, it's really just, as you said, being yourself.
Facts.
Only now you're a grown up, and it's the same shit.
True. That's 100% true.
So like, when does it go from a point of like you're like I'm a karaoke box of pop hits to I'm like gonna start actually doing my own thing?
That's so funny, man. Well, I started trying to like write stuff because actually the first kind of stuff that I started to do was I started writing out the lyrics of songs that I liked and rapping it out loud and being like, oh, this is dope. So I can rap no beat. I know these things by heart and can just do it. So can I write my own words? Can I make things rhyme? Can I do this kind of thing? And I guess this is in my mid-teens or whatever the case may be. But I wasn't rapping in front of nobody. I wasn't like rapping for anybody or anything like that. I think that happened more when I was like when I started college, when I went to Dawson, because like I didn't like, so like for example, the young thing again, like I started college, I just turned 16 and I was in Dawson with like 18, 19, 20-year-olds and shit.
You have come up in your Dawson era a few times.
Like, yeah, there's like a diaspora of Dawsonites that I have either been in contact with or in some way, shape, or form like had influence or growth with. Or shout out Wasiu, shout out Lex, shout out Ghost, shout out everybody who has in any way, shape, or form I've ever interacted with in that
There's
time.
a large list, and your name almost always comes up first.
Have you ever seen the movie Van Wilder
No, actually. I know
with Ryan Reynolds?
Like, I know what it is.
Okay, so like, it's not necessarily a good thing, but I think that I was like the Van Wilder of Dawson. Like, I was like there forever, and I was like, I was almost like a, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't say that with great pride necessarily.
I mean, at the same time, if you end up becoming like a dude who's professionally, like, that's all you do is make music and shit for the rest of your lives, given what people say about you at this point, it was one hell of an investment for your brand power.
Really?
The number of people that will hands down say you're the best freestyle they've ever seen is...
That's wild.
And we're talking, like, sometimes, like, interesting names, you know? Like, I don't want to go that far into it and be wrong right now, but pretty much anybody I've interviewed that has seen you at Dawson has given you high praise. It's almost like people... I've gotten to a point where sometimes it's like... People go out of their way to just be like, Basics is the greatest. Basics is going to be this basic.
Wow.
Say a word. And I guess, like, in my life, like, man. I just know you as Basics. You know, like, so. I'm like, to be fair,
that's dope.
I've heard a lot of your accomplishments. And I realized I met you in, like, just so that people know, I met him, like, what? Right before lockdown.
Yeah.
At fucking Makeway's thing, and we're like, oh, I know you, and apparently we may have talked one time before that. I don't even know what that was. Right,
I think it might have been at Escalier,
right,
which is part of the lineage of my rap.
Yeah, Big Ben.
Steez. Yeah,
so
and meeting them even younger than that.
Things happen, and that's it. And then otherwise, this might be the fourth time ever, maybe fifth
in
time.
Physical flesh, yeah.
I think one time I saw you random quick, but like that's it. Like. So it's just like
shout out SQDC.
So I haven't seen like any of it personally. All I know is the legend of Basics, and it's
the legend of Basics.
It's a real thing.
Holy shit, that's incredible.
Like, depending on who I like say that to, they have seriously different reactions.
That's fine.
But
wow.
I would argue that if you were to tap into the lore about yourself, you'd be astounded. Like, well, I'll document it one day. I'll come back at you and be like, yo, here's
that's
my
fucking
lore report.
Incredible, dude. Thank you to anyone who has good things to say. I mean, I'm sure there's. That's
this
dope.
Is not even the end of the week.
I'm sorry for everyone that I have done that has bad things to say. I apologize if I have any fault, but you know.
The only bad thing anybody has ever said about Basics is Basics has not released enough music.
That's a fact. Talk that.
That's
it's
it.
True.
But that's the only thing. Otherwise, he's the best performer. He's the greatest. And I'm not saying this patronizingly. I'm saying it like sincerely. People are enamored with it. I mean, I get it. The one moment
I'm humbled, man. That's really, I don't know
just because I know for a fact we're not going to get there in the timeline we're at because this is great pacing. My love in life, whatever. It might be a part 2, People of the World. But like, I remember watching this one scene on Myself where it's like earlier this year, like March, April, sometime like that. I don't remember exactly when. We're all on Lemef's stream, and this motherfucker right here is on TV. And they're doing this thing, and I'm like, say word, that's the Basics. And everybody knows the Basics. And he's on TV, like real TV, not fake TV.
Yeah.
Like, who cares if it's Quebec public television? It's the real TV. And then he does his shit, and he does this I love you, mom, or whatever at the end of his verse. And it was very impactful. And I felt emotional and shit. A lot of people felt that way. Because, like, how many of us, especially as English rappers in Montreal, with this kind of a representation anywhere to even see us existing, let alone on actual TV.
In French, I know.
Next to, like, Monkey and Ruby Rizzle. Who
I honestly, I can't believe I made it onto the show. I'm sure there's people who are gonna say that it was rigged or this or that or the other. But I mean, I auditioned like everybody else. There was 400 some people who applied to audition. It was like 150 people who got to audition, and they chose 16 people out of that. Or they chose maybe like a top 40, I guess, maybe, and then they chose their 16. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure the process exactly, but I mean, that's kind of why I mean, it's for me, right? I'm going to represent myself. I'm going to be Basics in any platform, any space. So I'm going to show love to my mom. I'm going to, you know, that's why it was funny. But like to have a French rapping and in the middle of it be like, "Mama, we made it," like little like things like that was like, it was really important to me to kind of like stay true in a way to who I am as a human being, because
I just want to add a layer of context for anybody watching this not from Quebec. It's a big fucking deal that English got past censors. Like, y'all may not know that, but that's a big fuck, because he did it in a way where they couldn't do anything about it. It was too cute. It was super like
the rhyme scheme rhymed with it too, kind of.
Like I remember one of them. It was like the kind of eye candy that reality TV gets hard-ons for. Right at the end of your set, like they could focus in on you getting emotional. There's no way you can cut that. They have to use it. It's too good.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it was like, oh, say word. Basics did that, and I really loved that moment too.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, honestly, just it's incredible the fact that music has in any way, shape, or form gotten me in the places it's been. Like growing up, coming from my era, growing up, that radio was a thing, TV was a thing, Much Music used to play music videos back in the day. I don't know if that's still a channel or if they still like, but you know, music videos used to come on TV and you used to watch them. They used to have channels like on TV for that. They used to tune in and used to watch music videos. I'm like, I know it's not, YouTube is a thing now, but like, to grow up from there and to have any kind of participation in music, and for it to be like, literally like before I had, you know, one end of the week the first year, I had never had a passport before. I had never traveled anywhere other than like the States maybe, or Vancouver or whatever. Like I had never been anywhere. I had never been on the radio that I had never been in any kind of platforms or known, quote unquote, in any way, shape, or form for any kind of expression of art. And like to then eventually to like be on TV, to be like in commercials, to have people be like, yo, TV. I seen a commercial for a TV show and I saw you, dude. And I was like,
like real TV.
Yeah, like TV, like that's on cable television. And I was like,
and like reputable TV, as in not like, okay, like when I say reputable, I mean like, y'all know there's like corny public television where anybody and their brother can go to it. We don't mean that. We mean like some motherfuckers put some funding into making this look nice level TV.
Yeah, facts.
And it didn't come off corny. And I checked with End of the Week Proper. We all agreed it's not corny.
Nah, I mean, it was definitely.
It was like, I think we were talking to Vanguard, and he was basically going, it was one of the best representations of the MC challenge you could do on TV without it being corny.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, facts. It was definitely like, they definitely, and it was done in such a short time span as well. That's the thing that I don't think a lot of people are really appreciating as far as like the critics or whatever. Like, I feel like people don't understand the time crunch that this was done in. Like you have to understand that this was thought up of, like this was approved to go in like end of September, October, and it was on TV in March. It's a TV show. It's an 8-episode TV series that was approved to get the green light in less than 5 months. They had it on TV. They had done auditions in 3 different cities.
Shout out fucking Olivier, bro. Shout out everybody.
Shout out to Guillaume. Shout out to Benoit. Shout out to Aimé. Yo, shout out to Billy. I know shout out to everybody related to End of the Week, man. Shout out to La Fin des Faibles, because they took a chance. I mean, and it kind of, for me, what it did is like, I give you an example. I went to chill at the mountain one time while the show was on TV, and I'm at the mountain lookout and I'm just chilling, smoking, whatever. And I like overhear some younger guys, like they're in their early 20s, whatever. And they're just talking and they're standing around and they're talking about La Fin des Faibles. Like I overhear people in the crowd talking about the show and being like, yo, who do you think's going to win? This and that. And I was just there alone and I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like the impact of this shit, like to have politicians, like the Ministère de la Culture, like the she tweeted about the TV show. Like it really brought hip hop into like the quote unquote normal mainstream people's like eyeballs.
You'll notice the bus ads for rappers increased after that.
Oh, big time.
Was legitimized, right?
Big time.
But now it's like all over. Yo, rappers dropping, boom, bus ad.
Big time, like, bro.
Say a word.
It's really, shout out to everybody who piggybacked on the End of the Week success. you know what it is. End of the week is the gateway, bro. Don't play.
Honestly, though, for big moves like that, for legitimacy, because, yo, that means there's going to be families with kids and shit that watch that shit
Yeah, facts.
right now. And these kids are going to have it normalized like it's American Idol.
Yeah, like it's crazy to have had those kind of interactions where people have been like, yo, I was watching you on TV with my kids, or to like have people that are not necessarily in my circles have some kind of an interaction where it gets to me that, like, you know, this is a thing. And not just for like about me being on TV shows and Anglophone or whatever, but like just the fact that like there was a hip hop show on TV here in Quebec is mind blowing to me that it
Big
even
mind
happened.
blowing.
I'm still surprised, to be honest with you. There's so much that happened. So many people had so many topics, so many things that I'm surprised that they let it be so as real as it was, and as open as it was, and as uncensored as it got for some of the topics. Shout out to Monkey, shout out to Elme for, you know, bringing important topics to the forefront and really having real discussions through their hip hop, through their messages. And like,
I think they don't have a choice. Like, as in Quebec's cultural tourism people. Like, keep in mind, the way the government is going to be structured, a government is effectively like a bunch of, like, it's like a conglomerate of companies put together. Like how there's like an Alphabet Inc. and it owns Google and Stadia and this and all, right? So, like, you can think of the main government as being like the board of directors, and then one of the branches of the company is the culture tourism people. It's probably not lost on them that hip hop is the shit.
yeah, facts.
And that, like, by embracing it, I mean, think about it from the anti-racism side of shit. By embracing it, they can be like, look, we're more open-minded. You know, like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
true.
reasons
I
to,
understand what you
like,
mean.
politically. And then what choice do you have? You know for a fact that, like, a lot of your young people are into this shit. You can
Yeah,
just
hip hop sells, man. It's
you
the
just
number
gotta
one
look at
selling tool.
Spotify.
And even you can look at any, like, honestly, you can just turn on TV, you can turn on the radio, you can turn on any form of online platforming, and you'll see that, like, big companies, they use hip hop to sell everything. You have products now that, like, it's wrapped to you, as opposed to like the old commercial, like with like jingles have gone away and have really become like hip hop is heavy in branding and commercialing.
Because they do these test runs, I think, with YouTubers. I have a theory on that one, right?
Okay.
I don't know if you know the fucking dude. Oh, what's his fucking name? Trap Lord Ross. He does
Trap Lord Ross.
Trap Lord Ross.
No,
so
I
he's
do
this
not.
white dude in like England or Scotland or some shit.
Okay.
All he does is cover topic. He gets to the point where he's straight up a vulture, but he's unapologetic about being a vulture. So it's like less bad. Either way, he's the kind of guy that did like an 8-hour docuseries on 6ix9ine, and it was really insightful.
Okay.
And he like covered the entire Jacksonville drill beef in full.
Okay, so
You're like,
he's finding out the niche subjects in a
and
way.
he's also like this random white boy that does this shit, and he's talking about all this shit for reels, for crazy views and whatnot. But his ads, so it'll be like the same things as you see Squarespace or anything. It'll be like, yo, if I want to get the best website and I want it to look tight, I'll get the Squarespace link right down in below.
Yeah, facts.
You're just like, what the fuck? What? What
But
the
that's
fuck?
how it's gone, man. That's like it's the number one
The
avenue
Wendy's
to,
mixtape.
or you know, just even if you look at like back in the day, the Burger King, they had this chicken sandwich ad going with Mary J. Blige, and if you look at the I'm Loving It, like the I'm Loving It jingle, it was written by Pusha T, and so it's like crazy that
Those
they.
are good bags to get, by the way. Get those bags if they come in your face.
Oh my God,
Do not turn down those bags on ego, people.
dude. I would definitely write something for McDonald's right now. Holler at your boy. I got the Big Mac sauce for
Ask you a
you.
question on the real, just on that idea of freelance working, because lately I see myself as a freelance employee contractor when it's a rapper. I have the
Okay.
services of live performance, which technically y'all can pay me for if you want. You can pay me to write you songs. I'm very happy to do that if you guys want. You don't have to. They're just available services. All these emceeing your event, got that for you. Oh, you want, like things like that. Like you have skills. So let's say, and this is because I keep talking to city councilors as I'm on my local politics grind. These guys have budgets,
Yeah,
right?
facts.
So what if they were to like take basics, and you were to be like a city councilor's representative in a rap battle, where you represented that candidate's ideas versus the next rapper representing the next candidate's ideas,
That's
and y'all would
hysterical.
do versus freestyling on debate points.
Wow.
And then if you could make a little bank doing that, is that within the purview of something a basics would do?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Look, honestly, I'm not the kind of person who's like, who believes in like necessarily the sellout thing insofar as like compromising who and what you are morally, ethically, your values of your core of who you are as a human being. If those things are come in line, like I'm not gonna rap about certain things or say certain things or represent certain people or align myself with etc. If it does that, but for me to get a check, for me to get the check though, like I'm down to rap for somebody, to write for somebody, to whatever. In fact, like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people that I've helped with, or you know, battle rappers that I've helped with. You know, I write everybody's battles in the whole city for both leagues, Word Up and DMS. I wrote everyone's battle, all the battle rappers. I wrote all their bars, both sides. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, like I'm down to get the bag, man, and help out because
sometimes some drama is good. There's always some truth in jest.
But like
Glock Party podcast, make sure you guys watch that shit. All love to them.
That's hysterical,
I
man.
watched every episode of Glock Party. I'm actually kind
I
of.
love it, man. They're super down. They just need an intro. I told them that from jump. They need an intro music. There's some kind of intro video or theme
like
or
abrupt fucking start shit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah?
Yo, it comes in and it's like
they're already talking. They're just
we
like in
have
the middle
a
of it.
dinosaur discovery. I'm
Yeah,
like, say word,
these
what
guys
time?
are hysterical.
I think he's
dude.
wearing a fucking dino. Yo, I have
Shouts
to
to
say,
Chrome and Trevi, man.
I love how between episode 1 and like episode 10 or whatever, the ratio of Chrome dominating the conversation to Trevi dominating the conversation has shifted drastically.
I mean, usually that's how it goes. No, like it's usually if it's a two-party like
Not to say
thing.
that Chrome doesn't get his say. It's just like Trevi more like laid back at first and then like started coming with facts. Like
Yeah, I guess they're both finding their groove as they go. You know, it's a new platform. They're doing their thing.
Like,
Shout out to them, but they didn't invite me on there yet. It's beef now, guys. You know what it is. Even though me and Chrome were at the chalet, camping together. Nah, but it's still, that's real life stuff. This is fake entertainment stuff. So it's beef in the fake entertainment world, even though in the real world, I chill at Trevi's crib and we play Nintendo 64. But I can't battle him about that. So now it's beef because they didn't invite me on the podcast.
Bro, it's 10 episodes.
I'm just kidding. Shout out to Feezy too, though, because like you said, shout out to Feezy. He's a hardworking guy, man.
Yo, Feezy's a dude where like sometimes people be like, yo, promo this, promo that, and it's a whole conversation that's distracting. But if you go past that top layer of the Feezy onion, it's like there's so many layers to him. Like, bro, they still do the magazine, and you're like, what?
And Feezy's an OG, straight up.
I didn't even know. Yo, from like my perspective as hip hop historian dude at this point, the fact that like since 2015, 2016, there's like a quarterly hip hop magazine of sorts. Maybe it's monthly. I don't really remember. And it features people. It talks about news. Like, yo, if you actually try to find information from that era, like honestly, Feezy is one of the only people, and this is available today. Y'all can actually go check that out. That has that information available out there.
Facts.
So just it's good to give Feezy his love too.
Yeah,
and I mean that because like, bro, it does a lot. I mean, look at DMS and the whole like battle situation. Media source, radio, like it's a lot of things, and respect on pulling that off.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Respect to everybody in Montreal who's really, on their thing, on their consistency layer. You know what I mean?
Hip hop,
like,
you don't stop too, because
big facts, man.
this is like the collab episode.
That's a fact, man. Shout out to hip hop, you don't stop, man. So I have a little alarm that goes off every hour and a half in my life, so I can keep myself awake and remember that there's time passing through the day and time. That's a whole nother human tangent conversation, but
that's nifty. Like, you know what I like about it is that you developed a solution leveraging modern technology to keep yourself on track.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I have an alarm that goes off at 7:30, and then This was a work thing before because I work for elementary school, and I do before school, after school, lunch program, a boys group, etc. So like, I used to have an alarm at 6 a.m. and then I have an alarm every hour and a half until 6 p.m. Cause like,
That's like periods and shit.
it's like times, like I have to wake up at 6, and like when my next alarm goes off at 7:30, that was when that's when before school starts. So like if my alarm was going off and I wasn't at work working with the kids, I was late. And like at 9 before school ends, they go to class. And then at 10:30 I was doing my pre-Ks, and then at 12 I was on lunch, and it just kept going like that. And then eventually I was like, oh, this is good for the weekends too, because it can kind of keep me like, I'm not going to like go on YouTube for 3 hours in a row, because my alarm's going to go off at some point and be like, oh my God, I've been on YouTube for an hour and a half. I need to do something else now.
Bro, I fucking stare at the timer thing sometimes on the video. Or like music. I use music a lot to keep time, because most songs are about 3.5 to 4 minutes. So if you count songs, you can run an average of how much time has passed.
That's hilarious that you say that, because one of the things that I'll do sometimes if I'm running late to something, like to train, or if I'm running late to do this, or if I want to take a quick shower or whatever, I'll put on X amount of song. Like I'll put on like these 2 songs or whatever that I know is like, this is 8.5 minutes. So if by the time a third song starts playing, I'm not walking out the door, I'm late, or etc. You know, like,
I can swear.
it's so funny.
So I started making my mixtapes to coincide a little bit with my bike ride lengths. So I went to Meticulous's crib, and it's 90 minutes. So I made a 90-minute project. So I had one that lasted the length of the bike ride.
That's hilarious. Yeah, you see timing. Music, man, it can be used for so many different things, man.
Because, you don't want to be like halfway through a bike ride and have to change the vibe. Like, it's not right.
No, not at all. It's also dangerous, and it can
You can just stop.
You can just stop. Yeah, no, it's true.
Like,
yeah, shout out to me for not being a smart and wise bike rider in my past times. You know, I've been hit by a train and stuff like that. So
say a word. That's not good.
no, it's not good.
I fell off my bike, though, being an idiot.
I fell off my bike too.
You know,
broke
like
my
when
wrist.
You're like, I could go to the corner, but I could also shoot off the sidewalk now. I did one of those.
Yes.
And that was a mistake because it bounced. And like fell off. Honestly, my shoulder still hurts a little bit from like, not like bad, but like, like it.
Yeah, you got to be careful on the bike, man. It's definitely
worth it. So that's the best.
Yeah, I've broken my wrist falling off a bike, protecting my face. I've had several other falls, and like I said, I got hit by a train in 2012 via rail.
Like, reflex to protect your face, though.
Yeah, it was instinctual. I mean,
I don't know. Maybe some people.
You're falling forward. It's either like I let it happen and I land, or I
remember in elementary school. I don't know if this was like yours. There was this portion of elementary school gym class where they would teach you how to like fall and roll and do these like low end gymnastics.
No.
So we were learning how to do shoulder rolls.
Really?
I fucking swear. On mats. So
that's kind of crazy still.
And I knew I was terrible at this shit, dude. I could never do somersaults and crap. I was like this pudgy little fucking. I mean, y'all can see me now. I don't know if I can do a somersault now, but like I'm now dumb enough to try to do somersaults in my 30s.
I couldn't do any of that. No.
Like I don't know if you've ever hit the point in your 30s where you realize I can do things, but I shouldn't.
I'm an injury-prone person. I've done a lot of wild things in my life. I've gotten a lot of breaks and a lot of different things. So I don't know if I'm at that point, but I'm trying to be, because the body is a fragile thing to be treated with care. You know, it's like if you were given one car for the rest of your life, or one means of transportation or movement, and you could never change it. You could just, take care of it, maintain it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's your body. Like, you can't transplant your brain. I mean, not yet. Maybe at some point in the future, you can go into like robot Elon Musk form.
Yeah, they're really pushing it.
Yeah, I know. But like, that for now, it's like not something. So like, I'm happy to not put myself in those situations. Maybe I'll save the train story for a part 2 or something. I don't know.
I mean, train story will come up when it comes up. If you want to tell it, you can.
It's just part of the lineage of all my near-death experiences. Like, I've had several near-death experiences. Like, I've been hit by a car twice. I've been electrocuted when I was a janitor, changing neon lights on a metal ladder, and I got rushed to the hospital. I've been I almost drowned twice and had to get like taken out from lifeguards, resuscitated. I was at the Dawson school shooting. Rest in peace, Anastasia, and shout out everybody who got hit. I'm so sorry for all the stuff that happened. I've been in so many different situations in my life that have been near-death experiences. But yeah, the train was the worst. I got hit. I was riding a bike in St. Henry. You know, you might know the area, but like on Courcelles and Notre Dame, where the Home Depot is.
I just yesterday.
You were there? You passed that earlier?
This route going to fucking Oscar Peterson Park.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, yeah, because you were coming from here. Okay,
yes,
so I was coming down the street that long building's on, and you make that left on Courcelles to cross the train tracks to go up towards Saint Jacques.
Right.
So, but at the time, there used to be this huge building there, a huge tall building that's now down, and it was like right next to the train track. This is back in the days of Death House. I don't know if you know what Death House is. Okay, word. So back in the days when Death House used to be a thing back there, I performed there one time. Which was this, for context, was like this super little tiny, like it was like a venue the size of this room with like a little bit, but it was like, you know what I mean? It was like a little up part. Anyways, it was right next to the train track.
Paper clippings, like the grungiest
crazy
shit you've ever seen. Tiny ass little stage in the corner, and then you would just somehow rap there for some reason, and it was the best show you ever. I don't know.
It was wild. Yeah, it was a wild thing.
4 or 5.
I've only been there one time,
and arguably, it is the model for what I want to do in the future. Is Death House.
Word, I feel you.
Because there's no other performances I've had as much fun / been able to smoke weed inside.
It's definitely an intimate experience, to say the least, man. But yeah, so that's the area.
50, 60 people literally staying in the show at one time, never going outside. Like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, so that area.
Yeah, exactly. So that area, the St. Henry spot there. And so you know that there's 3 train tracks there, right? Like, there's 2 that are a little bit together off, and there's one that's right there as you make that turn. So when I was on the way to actually record music, I was late. Shout out to people who know me in my personal life and know that that's something I'm trying to work on and not be late. But basically, I was late to record at 5 p. And I was coming down the street, and I saw that those cars lined up. So I knew that there was a train crossing, but I knew that I was late, and I was listening to music too. And I was being told at those times to stop listening to music while I was riding because it's very dangerous. Super dangerous, yes, because you can't hear anything.
Just put it on speakerphone.
Yes, I know. Trust me, I don't do that anymore, guys. Don't worry. I have a helmet and everything. I had a helmet that day too, actually. Thank God. But like basically, I went around the corner and you know, there's the clearing, there's the park, there's a field. So there was a train and it was already leaving. So I was like, oh, this is bless. Let me keep going quick before the things go up. Stupid move. Obviously, look, if you get hit by a train, it's your own fault. It's on a track, you know? It can't jump off the track. You have to go on the track. You have to cross paths with the train. It's your choice. It's all 100% on me. Like, but I basically went when the things were down to try to beat the cars. Apparently, this guy had already seen me because he was honking, etc. But like 30, 40 yards away, I just looked, happened to glimpse from right, and there was a train barreling down upon me. Tried to hit the brakes and like turn to, you know, fall. Yeah. But it spun me face of the train, and my whole right side of my body, shoulder, leg, everything got clipped. I got hit and I blacked out. And then I woke up on the ground, whatever, and I couldn't move. Like I couldn't wiggle my toes, couldn't move my fingers. My whole right arm felt like it was ripped off. I was asking the firemen and stuff when they were there, like, yo, is my arm there? Like, I was crying. Like, it was crazy. I couldn't move from the neck down. So I thought I was paralyzed. It was a wild, crazy story, man. Like, when I went to the hospital, the dude who took my x-rays told me, like, yo, you know, like last week somebody got their leg cut off from a train. There was a lady who came in the hospital. She came from a different section, came to the ER while I was still in the neck brace, and was like, I had to see you for myself. I've worked here 17 years. I ain't never seen no one as blessed or as lucky as you. She's like, you're here for a reason. You need to find out why you're here. I'm going to tell my kids about you. I'm going to tell them to wear their helmet because you had your helmet. Like, it was a deep, crazy talk.
Those helmets are, like, really big. I fell off my bike one time a couple of summers back. And what really gave me perspective was what my helmet looked like when I saw the scrapes and shit.
Dude.
And then I'm like, yo, that could have been like my face clean. It would have been that right there, right? Just
facts, bro.
And instead, it was loose. I got lucky. It wasn't like it was properly fitted.
Oh, yeah,
so
you
it
see.
fell off, and I wasn't sure if my helmet was on right. And then,
Jeez,
trust me,
thank
helmet was on
God.
right. Still ripped out some of my hair and shit. But like,
Thank God, though, man.
yo,
It could have been
makes you, like, go,
way
oh my
worse,
fucking
dude,
God,
man.
Helmets, this is corny, but helmets save lives.
It's so funny that you say like what it looked like after, because you know there was a lady who was on my side of the accident. Cause think about, like, there was cars waiting to cross, right? And then there was a train incident. So like that train was stuck there for like 4 hours. So these people were fucked. I fucked a lot of people's day that day. Plus, like, everyone who was on that train who was like about to get off at the Lucien Lallier station, and we were like right there. Like St. Henry's like 2 minutes away from where they were getting off. And like I Googled all this stuff because like they don't let nobody off the train. Like they have to wait for the train to get the clearance to keep going again. And they can't let people off. Like it's super deep. So like I ruined everyone's day that day, by the way. But think of the people who are in their side of the car, like who are on the opposite end, seeing me coming and seeing the train and being like, no, stop. You don't see what's coming. And then they see me get hit and they don't know anything else because the train is just there blocking the view. And they're just like, oh my God, we just saw a kid get killed on a bike by the train.
Yo, how old are you?
That's crazy. This happened in 2012. So it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday, June 12th, 2012 at 11:45 a.m. I was hit by a train and I was out of the hospital that night at 7:30. I didn't break a bone and I got clipped. They couldn't clean. I had a tattoo into my skin from part of the train because it was so deep, the wound. And there was metal shards and shit that they couldn't get it out. And like, to talk about what I was going to say with the helmet thing, like a lady brought me the bike and it looked like the Incredible Hulk, like squished it in his hand. And on the handlebars, there was pure blue and yellow paint from the VL rail paint from the train. And I was like, dude, I can't believe I'm alive. Like it's a crazy, crazy story. Like once in a lifetime, I wasn't supposed to die type thing. Cause I was thinking in the moment, when I seen the train, it was like, oh shit, this is how I'm going to die right now? Like I'm going to die right now? And it's me, my fault. I went through a train track, you dummy? Like, terrible, man. And for the people who know me personally in my human life, they know that I've done a lot of stupid shit to get myself hurt. I know everybody was going to be at the funeral, like, typical Alex, man. Only you could get hit by a train, dude. Like,
facts. That's an amazing thing.
It's crazy.
I've definitely got the impression that basics be basicsing is definitely an expression I've heard. Basics be basicsing.
That's a fact, man. Basics be basicsing, man.
And there's nothing wrong with that, man, because you got yourself a whole energy. Like I said, people talk about you. So one way or another, one thing I learned about this music thing is a lot of people, like, even you ask me, to talk about songs. I'm like, nobody gives a fuck about songs. I know it's a weird thing. They care about your songs if they're your fans. That's true. But when you watch a Hot 97, how much of the interviews about their fucking new album? Like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
At max. Because,
I've
not seen an artist successfully plug themselves for more than, like, 7 or 8 minutes before they're out of shit to say about their own music for the most part, without doing like a track by track album breakdown, which is contextless in this environment.
Yeah.
Sure. And sometimes they do the track breakdown and you're like, bro, like, I mean, yeah, cool.
You want to absorb it in a different medium, like that's the kind of content you want to have stand on its own type thing, you know what I mean? Stand alone.
That's it. Where it's like this interview, or all interviews, in my opinion, because again, I don't really like all interviews. I kind of like the Glock Party podcast a lot because they don't talk about like just battle rap. It's actually like aliens and dinosaurs and weird shit that I would talk about. So
yeah, they've barely spoken about battle rap
it's
at
amazing,
all, to be honest.
It's great. I like hearing about their more topical stuff. Or I watched a Hustle podcast and they run through stories and stuff, and you can see the difference between people who have like anecdotal events of their life versus people whose anecdotal side is like whatever. Honestly, my whole life changed. I'm gonna live my life to make a better interview than like fucking sounds like calm.
That's
like,
dope, man.
Check it. I don't have a major budget, so everything I do now is gonna sound like ass when I finally get to the next year.
And yet he paid me $1,000 for this interview. Crazy. Incredible. And he says he doesn't have a budget.
Bro,
Shout out
don't
hip hop.
even
You
say
don't
that
stop
shit,
though.
man. I need these motherfuckers to sign up on the Patreon. Don't make it sound like I'm making some money. Like that, yo, somebody actually looked at me at one point and said, "You probably need to sound like you're a little bit like, you might need to admit you're broke." Like, who's gonna?
Wow, that's kind of harsh.
I'm not like, I make money, but it comes in and out. I got like people I pay,
Yeah, for sure.
but like, then you're broke. You're broke, so you're not like profiting.
I mean, look, if you're not wealthy, you're broke in our.
But if you present yourself like, yo, which I was doing a little bit too much, like, yo, I'm crushing it, then people are gonna go give their donations to the next man's, which I love. Go give donate, but sometimes just remember that I'm not crushing. There's no $1,000. But if I had it, yeah, I would. Like, if I had that, like, if it was like flowing like that and all in is there. Like, yo, my dream for the lives is to get to a place where 50% of the tips go to the interviewee.
That's fire.
But there's no tips, so I can't even bring it up.
Yeah, I feel you.
But like, if people was doing that, and then yeah, I gotta make back my little bit of loss, and then whatever's left over is investment shit. And if people like knew, okay, say word, I bring people in and they tip, I get money. Like, that could be like a whole thing. So like, nah, I mean, I'm not trying to do a huge money grab. It's just, I wish I could pay you $1,000. I wish we could be in that place. I wish that was like where it was at.
Facts.
That we were just, cause yo, I talked to an ex-man's and he actually got like racks to go to, like, it was Legends. Legends gets like racks to go to the States and do performances.
That's dope.
Like, what?
See, I don't even know who that is.
This guy's.
But that's dope that he's getting. But you see, like, you don't need to be known. Like, I feel like that's the problem, is like, people don't necessarily know what they want. I think we've been duped, or a lot of people are duped into believing that what they want from their art and from their interaction with the world is to become like known or famous in any way, tier, any level. If you want to be super famous, or you want to just be in any way, shape, or form known. And I'm not sure if that's really what people want. I was just having this conversation with one of my best friend yesterday about, like, I would never necessarily, like, I don't think I could be, as a human being, I wouldn't want Justin Bieber, Drake level fame. I mean, shit, you could give me the money if I could be unknown.
I'm 50-50 on that, but I hear you.
Like, it's cool to be, like, I'll give you an example. Rappers be talking about, like, I'm balling, I'm buying the mall, I'm whatever, like, I've always said this, but, like, it's like, I would like to be able to go to the mall. It's like, it's dope that I can go to the mall and buy everything, but like, I can't go there without calling first, so they shut down the store, and I go with my security, and I get harassed on the way in and on the way out, and
bro,
it's too much.
I kind of would much prefer that version of life half the time. The other half the time, I want to hide. Like, there's a part of me that, like, yo, like, at that tier, I don't want the middle part. I want that tier or unknown.
See, like, me, I'm more of a, like, I mean, shout out to anybody who wants to, give me a crazy check or fame to make me whatever. But, like, no. Like, I would much rather be, like, a currency level. Like, you know currency? Yeah, so, like, currency, it's not a shock because I love currency to death. But if he walks down most streets, he's not going to get even noticed, other than the fact he's going to be super fresh and, like, dressing the flyest shit and whatever else. They're driving a dope ass old school Chevy or some shit, but like, and smoking the craziest weed you've ever smelt. But like, you're not gonna differentiate him and be like, okay, this guy's like a multi-millionaire dude who has it, who can have whatever he wants, right?
Well, I mean, I don't care about being rich, but like, I mean, literally everything about my physical branding is an effort to stand out more and be remembered on site.
Okay, see, I don't care about being rich either. That's the thing. I care about my time spent alive on this planet. So what I mean by that is, for me, there's no job that could pay me enough that it could equivocate my time. If you pay me $100 an hour to work a day job, at some point, I'm going to stack all the money and invest it over a time period in order for me to never work again. Because the time that I have spent on this planet while I'm alive is so much more of a commodity that it could never truly be reimbursed monetarily. Like, you can't pay me to be alive longer, which is what I mean by that. Like,
I mean,
you're gonna die. Like, if you could sell 1 second, if you had 1 second for sale for $1 million, you would in one day become the richest person on the planet Earth. If you could sell somebody 1 second, because they would buy days and years, and they would just give you everything to have more time.
I mean, I don't know if that's universally true. I'm motivated by legacy. So for me, it's like, if the fame is part of it, so be it. But when I die, there has to be something left.
Which means you need time to accomplish that.
I mean, I have time. So it's like, it's an
Right, but you could always have more, right? Because you always have less time.
But I get off on shit like time management and like project management.
Well, why do you have time management?
Because honestly, I went to work and I got lucky and they taught me that shit.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is not why do you have it like that. What I'm saying is why do you bother using it?
Because my ambitions require it. Like, I can't.
So you can make better usage of your time.
To do bigger things, though. I would say that
That's
my
what I'm
usage
saying.
of my time would never change. It would fundamentally, it would be a more grandiose version of what I do now.
Word up. That's what's up.
But it wouldn't be that different than what I do now.
No, not different. But what I'm saying is you would have more time to do what you do, right? That's what I mean by, so to bring it back full circle to the point that I was trying to make.
Maybe it's just different from me. But like, what I do at my day job is literally what I would do if I had more time just for my own shit. So I would agree that doing it for myself versus doing it for somebody else aspect with you, but the actual bro, like, I get off on like data and shit. Like, it's
No, for sure. But what I'm trying to say,
like, let's say my day job was something that wasn't what I do, I would empathize twice as heavy with your statement. I just feel like it's worth mentioning the bias of my like synergy.
Do you want to do that day job for the rest of your life?
If I had to?
No, that's not what I asked. Do you want to?
I would like to do the occupation.
For the rest of your life?
Well, I want to go into consulting and shit, which is basically what I do, but for myself.
Okay, so you don't want to work a day job that you have now for the rest of your life.
But you said, but I do. Yeah, I would do the same thing.
No, I asked you, do you want to work this day job for the rest of your life?
But effectively, I would do the same task. So
for yourself.
But it's the same thing. So
I know it's doing the same thing. What I'm trying, if you could allow me to, thank you. What I'm trying to get at, to circle back to what I was talking about fame and rich, etc. I don't want to be rich or wealthy because of the tangible things that it can bring to my life. I want it to be so that way I can have as much free time on the planet as I can possibly manifest. And by that I mean, if right now you never had to worry again about paying a single thing for the rest of your life, you'd be able to accomplish a lot more than not.
I'd do it
you'd
faster.
have more.
Yeah.
You'd do it faster because you'd have more time. That's what I'm saying. So that's my only goal. Like, I wouldn't want fame. I would want
so that's why
money.
I'm going, it's resources I lack. At the time, I'd feel like I wouldn't actually, because I'm a workaholic, so I wouldn't end up in a position where I had more time.
For sure, you are, but most people.
That's what I'm saying for
that's
myself.
What I'm saying, you know?
I try to like acknowledge it. This is for me, and maybe it's not a reflection of everyone, but I agree with the resource side of it.
Ashtray real quick.
It's like, facts of the matter is, I can't move. That's why I kind of tangented it here. Like, I can't pay you $1,000, but if I could pay you $1,000, y'all would be up in here every fucking week. So
Yo, he's lying. He paid me $1,000.
I wish, fuck. But like, if I fucking could, I would. Like, that's why we're trying to do all this grassroots shit, because frankly, we can't pay people. And it feels weird in a sense to own all this content and not be in a position where I own content with all these people's faces on it. I own it. It's not anyone else's content. But I can't pay people for it, which, like, it is what it is. It's
not yet.
One day, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But, like, it's still at a point where in your soul, like, it's more that kind of shit. But what am I doing with my life? Bro, this is what we're doing. This is it. It would be this, just in a nicer studio. That's how, I guess that's where my answer is. And I feel like
that would be dope, though.
But it wouldn't necessarily be better. It would be different. I've been told very clearly that when I get that, I'm going to miss this time. And I think they're right.
For sure. Of course. Because even to come back to, like, my, like, journey through music or artistry or whatever, like, I miss, when I was 19, 20, coming up and first going to, like, open mics and, like, just writing new stuff, poetry, or it just that feeling of like those, because honestly those moments of intimacy through the human connection of the art, or it's so much more than the bigger platforms necessarily are. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different feeling than rapping in fucking Prague in front of 1,000 people, even though that's life changing too in its own way. Like, I'm sure if and when I'm rapping in front of 10,000, 20,000 people at Oshiaga or something, I'll be like, wow, this is great. But somehow I kind of miss rapping in front of like 30 people, and only like 10 of them were listening to me anyway, and some of them were just doing their own thing. Like,
real though, like, just picture that set at Oshiaga, right? You have 10,000 people. You can't be up there doing random freestyles and shit.
Nah, bro.
This is big stadium shit. Now you got to be sounding like that. This is why guys like Eminem flipped their career. It's because they were performing in the O2. They weren't like fucking performing in your Metropolis tiered fucking 2,000 person show no
yeah,
more.
exactly. It's true.
Where your underground hip hop vibes and shit like that work really well. But yo, if we really want to talk stadiums, like, how many of us have stadium songs? Like, facts of it though.
No, it's true, man. That's a big part of it too, you know. That's why I feel like it's such a huge accomplishment for like the more and more it grows, like it's mind-boggling to see where even like, you know, I mean, it's kind of ego, I guess, to talk about me, but it's my interview or whatever. So, but like,
talk about yourself.
That's what we're doing, right? That's what I'm supposed to do right now. But like to see, like, the fact that I've rapped in different countries, the fact that I've like, it's mind-boggling to me to have any kind of a trail or journey, or any kind of like to be like, I don't know, to have this, what you said, the legend of basics or whatever. That's hilarious. Like, that's wild. Like, and for me personally, like, it's subjective because I'm living it, right? It's like the sound of my voice sounds different to me than it does to everyone else. It's kind of like the same perspective on that. It's like other people might be like, oh my God, this guy's so dope, or this or that. And I might be like, wow, I'm super whack. Like, I've done absolutely nothing in my career for you guys to be like, wow. You know, it's weird. And I think that kind of shapes my desires insofar as what I really want from music or art or this kind of thing, which is like, what I really want from it is the freedom of time in order to be able to do whatever I want with my time. I don't necessarily want to be, you know, I'd rather truly and honestly be behind the camera than in front of it, if that's possible, because the longer you're in front of the camera, the longer you're created into this thing that you're not truly. Like, people showing up at Justin Bieber's apartment and him being like calmly explaining to them like, hey, you know, this isn't really cool. Like, picture yourself coming home from work and you just want to come home and relax, and like, no one knows where I live, and now you guys are like 30 deep in front of my house blowing up my address. This just happened like a few days ago or whatever. And like, he's explaining this, and he's like, you know, it'd be good if you guys would respect that, and just, I appreciate you guys being my fans and but you know, I'm just gonna go inside And he says that, and the girl in front of him's like, oh, I'm really sorry, but can I just have a hug? And it's just like, he's no longer a human being to these people. He's like that thing.
I'm not even gonna lie, dude. It's like that for us already. You're already online to a smaller scale.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like, it's almost unavoidable. This is why, like, I grapple with this a lot. I had a moment earlier this year where I talked a little bit of shit, and then a little bit of people were a little bit unhappy with me in the DMs, and I realized there were real life consequences to my words in ways that there never were before, just because I'm doing better.
That's true, man. That's very true, man. Everything that you're saying and doing online can be like, how, for example, like how we were joking earlier, but like, you know, you can really blow yourself up, as we've seen from other people online and bigger celebrities and smaller celebrities. You can really like say the wrong thing or represent yourself in the wrong way, and it's kind of like very tainting in a way.
It's often just being negative versus positive, right? I think a lot of people struggle with the Facebook jail concepts and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's whenever you have negative moves, people feel away. Whenever you make positive, you can put any opinion in the world that you want onto the internet if you somehow say it in a language that is not negative.
I have to agree with you, because people, it's like what Maya Angelou said about, like, people won't remember what you said or what you did, but they'll remember how you made them feel, right? And like, that's why memories and hindsight and those kind of things often get clouded and people get into arguments because people are often like, oh well, you said this or that, but what they're really thinking is about what they felt in that moment. They're not thinking about what they remembered, and they're not necessarily thinking about it from an objective, like, outsider's perspective of like reading a script of what happened. They're like putting tone and context and nuance and etc. And like
also having this other assumption that like people understand what they mean.
Just grab your light.
So like one of the things I mean by that is a lot of people maybe use very particular language, or they focus a lot on language, and they assume that everyone has the same like linguistic skills, or that like I don't know if you've ever talked to somebody in New York City and they've said some shit that is plain English.
I've never been to New York City before.
But if you talk to the people,
But yeah, so yeah, for sure. Shout out EOW New York.
Like you talk to them and they say some shit in plain ass English, and it doesn't mean a damn thing to you, and somebody actually has to explain what the fuck that meant because it was English, but you've never heard what that's in your whole life.
That's hysterical.
That's like almost half the premise of my show with EOW is no, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, Shine.
No, I don't know.
I'm Shane.
I don't know it. I don't know. No,
that's so funny that you say that.
So it makes me go, so say a word. Now everybody's on Facebook. Everybody's from everywhere. Bro, people in Montreal in different boroughs have a different understanding of English.
That's a fact.
So like, yo, do you know what you either know what Jaeger's boss is or you don't.
For sure. Jaeger's boss. What are you saying?
You know what it is or you don't.
Yegs, negs.
All of that.
All of that.
So you either do or you don't.
Even saying all of that, saying word up, saying still, saying yo, I'm trying to dip.
Stills to this fucking day, and I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Wager.
Yo, by the way, Tory Lanez years ago had a song called Still where he explains, like, shouts to Tory for always repping for Canada, to be honest with you. Like, on a random thought.
Canadian? Because I don't even know.
It's definitely you know, West Indies, Caribbean, Afrocentric, you know, and that's, you know, to go on a tangent of like this language thing. It's funny because going overseas with End of the Week, one of the first things that I really had a notice and connection with is in Prague is like our language was closer, even though it's all English, but like it's Canadian English, United States English, and England English, but it was so much closer in the England and Canadian because of some of the West Indies, Caribbean, like there was a lot of sounding of the same things. And so like there was a point I was talking on one of the first nights, and one of the guys from End of the Week England, Apex, shout out my brother Apex, he was like, yo, he sounds like one of the youths from the Ends, you know. And I was like, what the fuck is the Ends? But like that's how they call the hood. You know what I'm saying? And like, but I know what you and da da da. Because at some point I said something like, yo, I'm trying to dip out still. Something like that. And they were like, yo, you talking like, you know, a road man, you know? Like
that sounds just like natural, like dip out stills. Like
that's like a DG, Uptown. Like there's a, Bergs. Like there's a lot of influence of this even in the mannerisms and in the.
Yeah. Yeah, I swear, on just like a side note, one of the projects I want to do one day is to get people together and we just write a book called Montreal Slang.
That's fire.
English Montreal Slang. And it's just a slang book. And we just make shit up too. We don't, who cares? We just make up like a code of slang that all the rappers agree are things.
Yeah.
And then like we just run it. We run it. And then if we put that book out, motherfuckers jump on it, at least 25 of those slang words will become lexicon in the city.
Facts.
And it's stuff like that I think is fun.
That's a fact.
Yo, it's because you never think about Montreal slang, but I was talking to Lush one.
Wow. Shout out to, wow. Yeah, it's true.
A big name drop. But
yeah, no, facts, bro.
But he fucked me up. We were talking, he's like, yo, you sound like you're from Montreal. And I'm like, the fuck does that mean? He's like, nah, break it. And he started talking to me about Montreal slang and how it's and I'm like, what? Because we don't hear our slang. We live here.
Yeah, facts.
But when you hear about a bagel, you're like, the fuck's a bagel? And that's what a bagel is everywhere else.
Oh, yeah, yo. There's a lot of them
like
little ones, right? Yeah.
Slang after. And then, like, you realize that, like, we a lot closer to New York than, like, anywhere else in Canada with regards to how we speak. And there's even more shit that makes it more Montreal that's just different. Like, yo, I was talking to a guy in Toronto, and he said, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" And I'm like, "Oh my fucking god!" He doesn't say, "Nah, I mean." He goes, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" And I'm like, "Do you see what I mean?" It's like these kinds of things that change.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
And it's like, but we don't think about the fact that we have slang here really a lot. I don't think we don't we don't focus.
Well, I
on
think
it.
you're in it, right? Like, like you know the word colloquialism.
Yeah.
So like basically like I think that when you're so in it, you're not necessarily focusing on it. It's so, you know, even like franglais, like the mixture of speaking the two and just like being certain, like it's like when I've been overseas, like when I went to St. Louis, or when I was in London, or it's like it's clearly, you're clearly standing out for every subtle little thing that for you wouldn't necessarily be any kind of, you wouldn't hear it differently than any other, but it's little enunciations or like the bagel thing or like certain little things. Cause like it's shout out to my homegirl from Ontario who says bagel. Shout out Sam. Like she knows what it is. We used to make fun of her all the time, but like I think it's hilarious that there's different ways of saying the same words and just slang. And
aluminium is a legitimate
that's crazy,
way to say
which
the
is
word.
I've never said aluminum. I say aluminum.
But technically,
Aluminium,
you'd
I
run
know.
the UK.
It's crazy.
Or I say documentary because that I don't know. I know documentary. I can't say it.
Documentary.
I can't say it like that. For me, it's documentary. So I just say because it's the British way.
Word
And
up.
it's valid. And I looked it up one time, and everybody gets mad that I say it like that.
Documentary.
Bro, like there's a lot of
That's
things.
hysterical.
Or what's crazy is I don't think grapefruit. I think pamplemousse.
Wow.
It's the
See,
only
that's
word.
the franglais.
It's the only word.
How your brain will go
I
there.
didn't know it in English until I was an adult.
Wow. That's deep, man. You see, like if I had, like on a tangent, right? But like if I had 3 wishes from a genie, legit, if I had 3 wishes from a genie, the very first wish, I want to be able to read, write, and speak every known language on the planet Earth.
I would like Google to invent that for me too.
Because if you were, no, I know you can, but what I'm saying is to have it all like fluently and sounding
I'm
in the
talking,
dialects
I
and
want
tongues.
some
You know, like those
universal
videos,
translator, Star Trek
that's what
shit.
I'm saying. But like, you know those videos where like the reaction videos where you see like a white guy going to like Chinatown and ordering food in English, but then like he starts speaking fluent Cantonese or Mandarin like in the same tongue as them, and they're like, how are you speaking this? And then he's like, oh, I lived in Beijing for 15 years, ha ha ha, or whatever, you know. But it's like you get truly treated differently when you speak and understand, and you can really have interactions that are like, I feel like that would be such a superpower to be able to speak, read, and write all the languages. You could literally connect and talk to anybody at any time and just be like, what up?
So yeah, once they make Google Lens proper, trust it's gonna be built in.
That would be so
It's
fire.
gonna be built in. Like you know they're all working on it. Google Translate has gotten to a point where like people complain less about it.
Oh, shout out to Google Translate for helping out certain things when being overseas, man, and being like, how you say this, how you say that.
People get mad at Facebook and don't believe that people like can understand context, but I like at work use tools that run what they call a sentiment analysis.
Sentiment analysis?
Sentiment analysis. So the sentiment.
So it's
the tone,
judging like the emotion of the message?
and it tells me positive, negative, or neutral.
Really?
And I use a
What is this like? What
I'm
like
doing this on
what
social media.
analytics does it use, or
Language.
what? So it just has like a bank of words and context of those word applications in order to mathematically deduce.
Because like this shit was garbage in 2017, but you gotta keep.
Okay,
in
it's
mind.
adaptive.
So we'll check out how it would work in real life, though. So what happens is these people use like an engine. So everybody's gonna license like the same AIs. So let's say there's like 5 or 6 big AIs. I don't have this in specifics. People who know better, bear with me. So let's say there's tools. I know one time I looked into it, and to accomplish a thing I wanted to do, a smart lyric search, so I could call people on their bars and see if they were like actually used before.
That's fucking
Like take it
jokes.
verbatim and put it in my app, and it would comb genius and find me near matches. It has to have near matches, not just exact. Otherwise, everyone can do exact match.
Yeah, for sure,
It has
for
to
sure.
be close.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
would be about fucking. You told me like $150,000 a year for that AI. That's how expensive it is right now. But they have this kind of tech. So some companies will leverage this for like chatbot support, or Facebook has chatbot and all these things built into it. So they do two things. One, they study the manual language flows. So when you're using these companies shit, they can look at your data. They can.
Yeah, for sure.
And so then they can look at how you write templates. So they have thousands and thousands, if not millions, of examples of templates written by actual humans to go off of.
Wow, that's dope.
Secondarily,
And scary too, man.
they start offering suggestions.
Oh my
So
God, this is the beginning of Skynet.
In this thing called Zendesk that's out there, there's this tool called AnswerBot. And what AnswerBot does is it goes through your company's knowledge base, and based on what's written in the email, suggests 3. And as it gets it over time, if you have enough cases, it will get really good at predicting the right number of shits to deflect, let's say, 10% of your cases. And
That's
It
wild.
worked on me. One time with DistroKid, they used it, and it worked on me. They fucking had the right answer in their knowledge base article, and then I just used it. And they got my answer.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, all of this is being changed. Now imagine what Google's got going on.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
So
And they've got everybody talking into their phone at all the time, and so they've got a lot of word. They got so much of a database. It's all about the data, man.
When I do my like, okay, insert keyword that we don't want to say right now is to my like little box that I talk to.
Okay, yeah.
Like I guess the Alexa version or whatever. But if I actually say it, my phone will get triggered.
Okay.
So like, when I say it to that, I'm like, "Yo, what's good? Tell me what the weather be at."
And
I
it
talked-
responds and says it to you.
Weather and it by now.
Okay.
But then the fact that I don't ask follow-up questions, the fact that I'm satisfied with that, because when it doesn't
I
tell you
feel
what you
you.
want, you rephrase your question. So if it can then have all of us going and asking in all the possible ways.
Wow, that's true. Cause sometimes I do ask my like I click and I ask my Google like some really off key, like something super like randomly specific, and it's just like da 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 da. And then if it doesn't necessarily fully understand, I might have to slightly rephrase it or whatever, and then it'll give it to me, you know?
It knows that that's what you meant for the other phrase.
Yeah, that's
So-
what's
But you gotta imagine if it's this good, where's it at in 3 years? So trust, it actually knows.
Or where's it at already? Because you know they always
Well,
have
that's
military
why when
usage
people are
first.
like,
Conspiracy
yo-
theory. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
No
but on
conspiracy
that
theory.
note, like when you see people complain about how Facebook can't tell context, it's like, no, actually it can tell context. You're still in violation of the rules. That's the problem.
That's so dope. Okay, we're back to the naughty talks.
It's just anything people do, right? Like, whatever you do, the AI is that good.
Yeah, it's true.
It has the context. It knows what's up. I don't remember how we got on here. That's what the show could be like sometimes. But like, with that, like, okay, let's go back to you. That's usually what I do, and I forget where the fuck I was going with it. So like, if you're back at Dawson, this deep into it.
Wow, yeah, for real.
What like got you into that freestyle culture in Dawson? Tell us a little bit about that.
Man, shout out Hype Man P, man. Basically, like, there was a friend of mine who used to beatbox all the time, and like once it was known that I was like a little bit of a rapping guy, freestyling, whatever. Like, bro, I'm telling you, this guy Hype Man P, Patrick, shout out to my brethren. He used to just, as soon as he would see me walk up the staircase or be in Conrad's or wherever else, like, he would literally, like, start beatboxing and just be like, yo, let's go bars right now, boom. And he would just, and he was, like, a really good beatboxer and also very loud. So basically, like, yo, he would get me going, and then it would just create, obviously, a little, like, you know, circle, whatever's going on. And or like we would be like walking down the hallway and he'd be beatboxing and I'd be rapping, or we'd be walking through the caf or whatever the case may be. So then in a way it created like an expectation of that to be happening. So then I had to like rap better, you know. And then I started running into people like I hosted an event at Dawson called Street Heat, which was a competition of breakdancing, beatboxing, freestyle rap, etc. And that's where I met Micro Skills. Shout out to Micro Skills.
How all these people might remember you in a more legendary way when you.
Maybe, yeah. Shout out Micro Skills.
Like the one from Hip Hop Karaoke, just
Yeah, facts. Like, I met him at Street Heat. He actually won the first Street Heat beatbox competition. So he was from Vanier, and he had come down for that, and he won. And basically, this is around the time when I first met Logix and a lot of these Montreal people. I got a bag of Montreal CDs here, but maybe we'll do that for a part 2. But like, basically, that's when I met a lot of these people and started even stepping even more up. Because when I first met Logix and certain people, shout out Urban Logix.
He's now Don Lennon.
Shout out Don Lennon, it's true. Sovereign Music Movement. Basically, I was like finding a whole new world of dope MCs. A lot of whom, in my own mind, I was like, yo, this guy's incredibly better than me. Like, I really need to, like, step my rapping up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got, like, put in the dojo. Like, it was basically, like, almost like at that time, the Dawson energy and vibe, there was a lot of people who wasn't even from Dawson coming to Dawson all the time to chill and to do this, that, and the other. And it was, like, almost like... It was like like how the Dungeon family growing up in ATL, they were all like making each other better and influencing each other, and it was almost like that kind of a vibe. Like it was like a training ground, so to speak. And it was also like in a way, it was like a dopamine, serotonin, addictive. Like it was very much like yo. Like, I can have mad people just fully like, yo, I'm rapping. All I'm doing is rapping. Why are you guys so impressed? But yeah, you are. And that's not to like, it's such a weird conundrum because in my mind, like, I see words like math, right? And like, so for me, it's
that math shit.
Right. Like, so it's very much like, it's easy for me to see a word and it's like, oh, I see all these different rhyme patterns that go with it. And then it's just about like, making it make sense in some kind of an order. And like people seem to be so captivated by this or by singing that it was like, oh shit, this is dope. Like this is one of the few things that I have really like going for me in that kind of a manner. You know what I'm saying? Like I was never on like the basketball team or like, you know, but like I like all the basketball dudes fucked with me, all the shorties fucked with, like everybody was kind of, I was kind of like a free for all. I was in any and every group. I didn't care who I was around. So like I know what, that's why I always bring back Van Wilder as an example, because like that really was part of my like persona in a way. It attributed some to my rapping, to my singing, and to my growth as an artist, and to being like free.
This is back in like what, 2004?
This is, yeah, because I started Dawson in 2003.
Right.
So like this is 2005, 2006.
It's just worth like noting it, right? Because a lot of the people who would effectively go on to do some pretty incredible things in that like 2008 to 12 period all can like be like, yo, back at basics in the fucking Dawson, because they were all like there, and it was a lot of these people like the Royal Peasants and a lot of these guys, like they would have been affiliated back to that like era. You can almost trace it. Guys like Meticulous and them know about it. Like a lot of people
Shout out
were there. It was like there was this hub, and you were like a central part of the hub, is what I understand of it.
I mean, shit. I don't know if I want to take credit like that to say I'm a central part of any hub. I guess I'm just part of like.
People say
I'm just there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said this like.
Being there is not something a lot of people are willing to do. So you got to just think about that. Right?
Okay.
Like, if you're always there, it adds to like the collective mass, right? So like it's like if 10 people are concurrently streaming your shit, it's more powerful than 3 people. So you kind of count like a stream, like a like I'm trying to like equate it to the modern day. But like if you're part of that squad of people that created that culture, it would have required a bunch of people to be that role, but you were definitely part of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's dope to even have any kind of like, if I can say in the entirety of the history of all of hip hop lineage, if I could have like one tiny little stitching in the entire thread,
you got stitching in the
like
thread,
it would be that's an incredible feat because of my fanhood of music and hip hop in general,
like,
you know.
Undeniable that you were on TV in a hard facts way.
That's dope. Yeah, that's true.
Literally a historic moment of hip hop for our part of hip hop.
That's true. I was on the first show of hip hop on TV, first rap contest TV show in Quebec.
So
it's pretty dope.
No matter what you would think of that moment, you've done it.
Respect.
Like, there's no like ifs. Like, I'm not really like jealous of it or negative. To me, it's incredible that it exists.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it
wow.
needs to be given like that much love. The 12 or 16 of you, of which I know 3 of you in person before this. I've met Monkey beforehand, and I met Ruby, Red, Rizzle, whatever.
Yeah, word up. Shout out Ruby.
People can. I saw that lady spit live at this all-girl show, and I saw her crush. I saw her beat get fucked up.
Oh, she's fire.
I saw her hold it down live. I saw a lot of shit and her like elegance. I seen her branding for a year before
Word
she went
up.
into that shit, and she's like been at it for a long ass time.
Word up.
So like, see 3 people I'd personally interacted with on TV, like that was wild to me.
Yeah, facts, man.
And it's cool to see that you were a part of it with all the buzz and whatnot. And now like we gotta like, I wanted to like kind of keep this in like the 2-hour-ish mark because it was a collab episode, and
I feel you.
be like polite, and we're running up there. So I do want to like bring that to like the now, right? So we talked a lot all over the place. People get a sense of who you are, but there is that part where we should make sure to plug some of the shit you're getting up to in the near future.
Yeah, true. I mean, the last song that I put out was on 420. Go check it out. Subscribe to the YouTube. Just spell basics. Follow me online. It'll be in the description, I guess. But
Don't worry about that.
I just want to get high. And what's coming soon is a few songs. I got some music coming with BK Brooks. Shout out to BK. Another song with 5P. Some music videos. By the time this comes out, the 2 of those should be out. So I guess go stream it online. It's called More, and yeah, there's gonna be a video out, etc. It's very everything was done before COVID, and so just to be,
was it really?
yeah, because it's a bunch of traveling and stuff.
Okay,
But it's like
I
I know. No, but basically, yeah, more music coming on the way. A show which will have been already done for Hip Hop You Don't Stop by the time this interview comes out, which is weird because we're before either of those 2 things happen in the physical world. Yeah. So like this is like a future, past, present mixed conversation. Fact. Right now we're actually time traveling. Like this interview is actually a time travel.
Yeah, because you're seeing it.
Because I'm talking about things that are going to come out soon.
Like just for context,
by the time the interview should come out, it should be out.
August 22nd. It is currently 3:52 p.m. Yes, this is the same day we're going to Girard Park, in case y'all don't know about that. That's what's happening after this. We're going to the park with a fucking amp to go ramp bootleg style.
Shout out end of the week.
Shout out end of the week.
I'm too hot to keep this on.
Yeah, we're all right. We're almost done in terms of like whatever. But yo.
Oh, let's keep going.
Yeah, I'm not done yet. I want to make sure that we hit the 2-hour mark. I just wanted to make sure like we plugged your shit properly.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, look, there's more music on the way. Please follow me on Spotify and YouTube or wherever you stream stuff. My music's actually up online right now, and there's more on the way. I've had a few editing issues myself as far as getting some of my songs. I'm like a little bit of a perfectionist, and I feel like I really want. That's kind of like my problem too, to be honest with you. I feel like in a way like I have like the art anxiety, you know, like I don't want people to think I'm garbage.
Nobody's gonna think you're garbage.
So. That's really what it is. So hopefully y'all don't think I'm trash still.
You could poop on a song. Like you could just go poop.
Scoopity boop boop whoopity whoop whoop like
that is one of my favorite Kanye West songs.
You're fire.
I fucking swear. Cause yo, I scoop diddy whoop. Poop diddy scoop diddy whoop. Go look at it. It's that.
Yo,
That's
it's fire.
the order of the words. Cause yo, that shit was so fire to me. Like
it's crazy. It's crazy. That beat is wild.
Yo, but then that was just like he was trying to like do like a lyric placement, like, you know, like this is the skeleton of what the
yeah,
and that leaked, and it was just fire by itself. And it's funny because he used it as a response to Ebro or whoever, and was like, this is what I think of Ebro's opinion. Scoop did it. So like in context it's hilarious, and then if you just come across it, it's just random.
Yeah, facts. Apparently he was low-key shotting Drake too, because Drake was like supposed to get that beat. And they had somewhat of a falling out, quote unquote, and like Kanye put that out to be like, yeah, hey, you wanted this beat, eh? Well, here's what I'm gonna do on the beat. Now you can never use the beat now. And Drake apparently was annoyed with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if I'm Kanye, I'm okay annoying Drake.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on.
So like, there's only like 5 people of that influence in the
game. Yeah. Oh man, that's so true, man.
Excited for Donda?
I
you
mean,
peep it? Have you like peeped any of the live?
no, I haven't like. I tend to not necessarily stay up to date with the newest things that are going on, to be honest with you. And also, it's not because I don't like Kanye, but I haven't checked for Kanye in quite many years. Honestly, I know it's gonna be blasphemous because of the influence of 808s and Heartbreak, and because of the influence of My Dark Twisted Fantasy, but the last complete project that I truly enjoyed from Kanye was Graduation.
Fair enough. I think
Graduation you can play from beginning to end, and it's every single fucking song is a smash, bro. It's a crazy to me, it's Kanye's best album. I know y'all are gonna say that I'm wild and that I'm terrible for saying this, just like I don't like the Black Eyed Peas song, but like,
but
hey.
to be fair, there might be something to our age that plays into where Kanye was at and how old we were, because I remember when that album dropped, and for a long time that was my favorite Kanye album.
I feel you.
Until I was older.
Maybe that is what it is.
And there's Twisted Dark Fantasy is like special. Even Yeezus is special. Like these albums are special. Like they're different.
Yeah, for sure. Like, see, I didn't even remember about Yeezus, so I didn't even bring it up to say. But like yeah.
Right, even like Kids Sees Ghosts or whatever is pretty fucking cool.
Oh, okay, yeah, the thing with Cudi, yeah, for sure. Bring back the Kanye, Pharrell, and Lupe group that they never made. That's what I was hoping for.
Good. Jesus King was pretty good.
I didn't.
Was it amazing? Like,
yeah.
I could see why people don't like it, but musically it was good.
Yeah. I would have loved to see Kanye, like I was just saying with the Lupe. I don't know if you know the CLR, the Kanye, Lupe, and Pharrell. They were supposed to make like a group, and Child Rebel Soldiers, CRS, and they have one song, but they never. I don't know. The project never came out or it never materialized, but they were supposed to be a group. Pharrell, Lupe, and Kanye.
I feel like
that would have been
in like
crazy.
2006, that sounds crazy, and in 2021,
it doesn't sound the same, eh? Like, it doesn't sound the same at all.
They're like three. Like one of them never aged and is explicitly for the women right now. One of them's a billionaire, and one of them just destroyed Royce to 5'9".
That's hysterical.
I mean, that's where we're at with the 2021 version.
Yeah, that's true.
But Lupe is one of the. I want to interview Lupe so bad. Like he's like one of the most artist guys out there.
Man, when I was like when Lupe was first coming out with the F&F mixtapes, the 1st and 15th, and like before Food and Liquor dropped, like he was dropping a lot of music mixtapes, and I was like, yo, this guy is crazy. Like I hadn't heard, like he really, like he's one of the people that influenced me, like the earlier Lupe stuff as far as like my rapping and my artistry, etc. And also specifically someone called Blue, BLU.
Blue in Exile?
Blue in Exile. There's an album called Below the Heavens. Oh, they did a Drink Champs?
Nicki Fax, Asher Roth, and Blue.
Oh yeah, they just made a group, I think, and I just listened to their song Rain by Knots.
It's a single that they have. Anyway, it was on the Drink Champs.
Yeah, word up, that's dope.
From, like the same freshman class.
Yeah, exactly. Below the Heavens is one of my favorite all-time albums. And it's just so, bro, like honestly, like how it starts with and like the whole and then like honestly when I heard that album, I was in a place in my life where I was like questioning whether or not the kind of music or thought process that I wanted to express in music, like as far as like, you know, consciousness and woke and all that shit before it was terms like that, was like it wasn't gonna be, and it was like, no, that's not the game right now. That's not how that's not what rap is. And then somebody gave me a shout out my boy Lanky. He gave me like 5-6 burnt CDs, and he was like, yo, check this out. There was like a Corey Guns mixtape. There was the Asher Roth when he first had the mixtape with DJ Drama, Gangsta Grills, the Greenhouse Effect from Asher Roth, and there was Below the Heavens. And I heard Below the Heavens, and like, yo, I was like, oh my god, like, because honestly, people won't agree with this, but like Blue is Kendrick before Kendrick existed.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Like the Below the Heavens album, it just, if he would have had like a went Dre or whatever, he would have went in that same like
issues where he had to like check in, get himself
facts, exactly.
So, like, it really derailed his career. Like
for real. But Below the Heavens is
just like before his time. Yo, Blue
He was before his time. Because Below the Heavens right now would, like, if he came out as a new artist and this came out, people would be like, oh my God, we found the next Kendrick. He's from the West and he. Yeah, exactly.
Don't even care.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a totally different thing, man. But yeah, that's a huge influence on me is the Blue and Exile Below the Heavens. Shout out to my boy 5P because he's kind of like my exile in a way, you know?
Word.
Yeah.
But yo, man, I have to say, just for the sake of it, it was great to have you here. We definitely need to do a part 2.
Facts, bro. This was
partly
amazing.
I'm inspired by the fact that we have activities to literally do after this in real life.
That's true.
Like, I gotta watch the
What time is it in real life right now?
And so I want to be at the place in an hour type thing.
Okay,
so,
yeah. And
so we gotta wrap it up a bit. Sorry, everyone. I know y'all loving it, but let Basics know that you want to see the part 2, and we'll set that shit up. We'll do it live.
Hit us
y'all
up.
Can be involved. Y'all can have your questions. Make it happen. Shout out Hip Hop You Don't Stop.
Shout out Hip Hop You Don't Stop.
Because for real, I realize it's cool to be a part of it in any way and to like make this happen and to like be able to air this and do this thing because they all up in NDG a lot of the time too. So straight up respect NDG and whatnot. Shout out Basics for being Basics and all that good stuff. Shout out all the patrons, the supporters, all the people watching this in the future on the different platforms. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, leave the comments, do all that good stuff. And yo, without further ado, everyone. Well, yeah, Basics and stuff's linked below.
Yo, shout out to you guys for making it this far, man, and tuning in with us. And like, just if you guys really want that part 2, we're gonna make it happen regardless. So like, it is what it is.
It for the people.
But shout out to Hip Hop You Don't Stop for bringing us together for this, even though we were gonna come together at some point anyway.
But yo, shout out to y'all, especially
Emilio, Mags, the whole staff.
Fucking live long and prosper, everybody.